For us, we did this for the fans. We don't have ulterior motives. We wanted to do something that was fun, and we've made something that's fun and people have found it fun. So for us, we've achieved that goal, so we're very happy about it. And the reception. Talking to Dean Carter, the project lead on Fallout London. Dean, how are you doing? I'm doing fantastic. Are you all good yourself? I'm not too bad, not too bad. I've been looking forward to speaking to you because last time we spoke it wasn't under quite so happy circumstances, but it was not, which I'm sure we'll touch on later. But this time we should definitely start on a happy note, and that is that Fallout London has finally been released. How are you feeling about that? It feels like I'm free. No, it's been great to get it across the line at last. Obviously, as you mentioned, there was some hiccups, but yeah, it's out. Is to be very well received at the moment, and yeah, it's a huge weight off our shoulders. Yeah, very happy about it at the moment. Yeah, awesome, and definitely do want to talk about how it's all going in terms of the reaction and stuff, but it's probably a good point. Again, there might be people listening or watching who aren't so familiar with the project. Just run us through very briefly how it started and how it got to where it is now. Okay, so Fallout London is a mod for a previous game. Mods being a modification, we've basically built a game on top of another game. Now, this originally started as just a very small idea. It was a conversation between me and one of my friends, and this was before COVID sort of hit, and then COVID struck, and then we suddenly all found ourselves, everyone on the team found ourselves basically locked inside for 2 years with nothing to do. So we decided, let's make a game, and this sort of just snowballed from there. We end up doing a video way back when it came out around E3, which is a big computer event, and it got more views than basically the original game studio, and that sort of just thrusted us into the limelight. So from there we then just kept developing, and then it's finally led up to now, which is, you know, some people were pegging this as like one of the biggest things for 2024, which is crazy because this is basically just a mode. So it's definitely snowboard, and it's so weird to be along for this ride, I'll bet. And you got a few names on, big names on board. And little Serp, I must just ask quickly, because since last time we spoke it emerged that you got one John Burrell to do some voice work for you. I've got to ask, how did that happen? Well, so the one advantage from obviously when we last spoke after the delay was we got to just sort of try and go over a couple of things and just sort of like to sh up any edges. And one of the silver linings was that we reached out to John Burrow, and was just like, hi, we have this scene where we have a speaker of the house, it's a robot, would you like to be involved, can you do this? And there was a bit of to Andrew of like, what is a Fallout? What's a Fallout London? And we explained, and we said that we're a volunteer team, because this is the whole thing, we're all volunteers. So he thought, oh, is this like a business venture? Like, nope, we are literally just developers who sit around in our pajamas. And he was like, yep, sounds fun, and I'll do it. So yeah, there you go. So yeah, he's got a little cameo role in there, and it's, yeah, it was very well received. Everyone seems to really like that. Yeah, there's a lot of excitement in our teams when we found out that was happening. And yes, I suppose that's a bit of a silver lining of the delayer. I don't think he even realized it would be as big as it was, cause like as I said, like we pitched it as the on his truth, which is like we're a small team that make no money from this, and it's just a bit of fun. And then he's probably waking up reading about like, wait, I'm in this, and this is what's weird for us, is that we do have this like gravitational pull, despite this just being like a little project of, you know, like for a mod. So the fact we've got this gravitational pull, like even talking to yourselves, it's so strange. We just don't think that this guy would be reading about it. Like, yeah, I can imagine that John Burr, I know certainly the BBC put a bit into interview him about I'm sure we weren't the only one. So it is this weird kind of, yeah, snowball effect, isn't it, like you say, but again points to what an impact that the mod seems to have had, you know, and there's so much interest in it. And so yeah, that was a great little bit of pre-release marketing publicity, John. And then shortly after that, for that London actually landed. Just tell us a little bit about the reaction to it in terms of how it's come out. Obviously, we're not going to lie and say that there wasn't some issues with like how difficult the mod is to install and stuff like that. That was unfortunately one of the main reasons why we were having issues For the last delay, if we could get permission from Bethesda to be able to put it on Steam, then we wouldn't have had some of these issues. It would just be like plug and play, you click and go. Now we did get that from the GOG side, which is like another release platform, so they have been fantastic, but a lot of these issues that we've had have been from the sort of the hard installation, because we have to basically, for layman's terms, you have to downgrade the game rather than use the current version. But in terms of actually going into the game, all the people that have actually played it and gone in and got through, like we know, it's a steep hurdle, but when they've got over that hurdle and played the game, we've had people say that this is like one of the best entries of the series, which we don't know if this is like a honeymoon period. We were assuming it is, we're probably going to get a lot of flaws soon when people like the root goggles have sort of come off, but yeah, people seem to be really enjoying it. And then for us, we did this for the fans. As I said, this isn't like we don't have ulterior motives. We wanted to do something that was fun, and we've made something that's fun, and people have found it fun. So for us, we've achieved that goal, so we're very happy about it. And the reception, that's good to hear. And just on the point about the tough install, I guess have you almost been a victim of your own success there anyway? Because I know there'll be a lot of PC gamers who think nothing of jumping into consoles and inputting commands and things, but given the interest in this, I would assume you've got a lot of people wanting to play for at London who maybe haven't spent so much time in settings menus and then what have you. Some of us has that. Do you think driven some of the problems? 100%. And we love the fact that we've managed to open this up to so many people. And that's why we've tried to get on as many avenues as we could, so that if your average viewer might not know how to do all this sort of like reversing engineering to try and get Steam to work, there's an option on GG which is like plug and play, and then people can just click a link that we put out to people. They can go and get it and it's fine. But yes, 100% we know that that was going to be an issue, and that was why we originally did the delay, because we were trying to make it work on the new version. The new version just doesn't work very well, quite frankly, so we were like, okay, let's revert it back. And we knew that that would be another mountain, so to have to go back on our word too. Know that we're going back on our word to try and make it work on the old version. And knowing the old version for many people was like a gate of entry. We knew. We were stuck between a rock and a hard place, and we've done the best we can. As I said, we're modders. At the end of the day, we're not industry professionals, so we only are allowed to do certain amount of things before we start rocking the boat too much before Bethesda. They get a bit upset, so we've done what we can in the parameters that we are allowed to do it. And so yeah, and I know obviously you would have tested the mod as much as you can before you released it, and I think that's always a difficult proposition with pieces anyway, because every PC is different, right? Have any of the bugs? I know that there's like a train one that did they take you by surprise, any of them? Yes, so the famous one that we known is the train crash, which is when you're watching the train crash, and then the game will shut down. That's actually due to a graphics card issue on how it reads things in the game. So what we've noticed is that a lot of people these days have like very up-to-date pieces, which is fantastic, but we've built this on an engine that's from 10 years ago that doesn't really play well with some of these things. So people have got these great new pieces that are using all these like modern day films and videos and all that sort of stuff, whereas the game uses old stuff, so it's reading all these like old data and it's just coming through, and some of them are just crashing out, and it's just like, what is this old stuff? It's like you wouldn't expect to put a floppy disk in your current PC. It's not quite that old, but it's like you wouldn't know what to do with it. So we've definitely had these, and I think one thing that people need to realize as well is, again, we're a modding team. There's only like a certain amount of us that can test. Our entire development team is probably there realistically for day in day out about 20 people, so we were all testing, sure, but we're being compared to Bethesda Game Studios, who had something like 150 QA testers for several months. That is impossible for us to have, so I am very happy in the quality it is, but yeah, you know, there will be things that they would have picked up that we unfortunately can't, so that's what we're solving right now. Yeah. And it should be said as well, I know there are lots of jokes about the level of bugs that are even in the Bethesda releases. When they come out, you maybe don't want to go too far down that road. We've been said that we are a release, let's say, so all bugs are the same, so if we stand on that level, sure, yeah. I'll train of thought there and be with me to apologize, no worries. Or what was going to say, but yes, that is the point really, isn't it? Does kind of highlight the scale of the project, because as you say, QA testing companies have whole departments of dozens if not hundreds of people dedicated to this, and I'm guessing you were probably expecting to have some level of surprises after the release, just because there's always surprises. Yeah, I think as well it's like we've had people playing the game now for like they're like 70 hours in, and like that was not our goal to create a game that's that long, and the fact that they're playing it for this long, and as you can imagine, for a team our size, we couldn't sit there and play 70 hours or every day, but there's not enough hours in the day, so it's just, yeah, it's one of those things where there were always going to be like hiccups. It's unfortunate that some of them were at the start. We are fixing those, and we have fixed a lot of them, so we'll have a fix coming out for them soon, so yeah. And actually that's probably a good place to bookend talking about the sort of fixes and bugs and things, because you have got some stuff on the horizon, right? Some fixes. Did just want to talk a little bit about what might expect from those. Sure. So the immediate hot fix is the one that we next coming out. That one is basically to try and help with some of the crashes and the like. One of the biggest things that we basically had as a recommendation we've got permission to use since the release, so we're now going to combine that in with the projects. That should help a lot of the stability, so that's more what the first hot fix is. The first patch which will be coming just slightly after, not too long after, but that'll actually be adding in even more content. So just the nature of these releases, there's only a certain amount of things you get in after a certain time. And we mentioned it that we had issues during our delay video, that due to some of the real world things that are going on that I don't want to go into, because everyone can guess we did basically lose one of our scripts, and so that there were things that were cut. This will be now filtering in through patches, so people will not just be getting fixes, they'll also be getting new content as well. So it's literally a bit of both, so it fixes the things that are broken, and then they also get like a new thing that they can do while they're going, oh, this now works, so it's good. I think awesome. I'm sure lots of people look forward to that one, and probably a good point there, because I think I've noticed looking at the reviews on G discussions on Reddit, I think even where people have had issues, they've been couched in goodwill, people understanding it's a free project, that you've all sort of donated time to. What has been the most kind of heartwarming aspect of the response for you, honestly, just the amount of messages we've got. Our inbox has been flooded with people just saying, this is good, this is, they bought them back because Bethesda haven't released anything to do with Fallout for a while. They keep updating Fallout 76, but if you don't enjoy an online version of that game, you're not going to play it. So for a single player game, ours has come out, and it sort of bridged the gap between when their next thing will be. So we've got a lot of people that been commenting on that, and they've been saying that, and it's just very heartwarming to have this now. We know, like with anything online, that there will be negativity out there. Typically, for every 10 people that like it, there'll be that one person that it else that they really don't. And I've just told my team, like, just don't read that, because look up my inbox, it's just full of everyone that seems to really enjoy it. So, and I've noticed that a bit more online is that the people that maybe don't enjoy it, or they've had issues installing it, they really want to sort of just yell to the crowd and be like, you shouldn't do this, whereas the people that have really enjoyed it have been a lot more personable. So they've contacted me directly, or one of the team members directly, because they're like, thank you so much for doing this. And I'm not just like, thanks, like they've like sent almost like novellas of thank you so much, and that is so heartwarming for us. We've read all of them, it's great, awesome. Yeah, that must be very validating because I guess there was always a lot of expectation, hype around the project, so there was a lot of people wanted it to succeed, I think, but still even having those messages come through must feel really good, right? Yeah. It's just great reading them, and I said, we didn't really go into this for like pats on the back, we just wanted to create something that we found fun and that we enjoyed playing, and it's kind of like a bonus that other people are enjoying playing it as well, and the fact they're enjoying it so much and telling us about it, yeah, it does feel good. Obviously it feels good, it's always a good yasti. Would you say, looking back, that you enjoyed making it overall? I know it must have been a roller coaster, but when you sit looking back over all the time you spent working on it, does it feel worth it? Well, yeah, 100%. Like, I'm not going to deny that there are low points where that everyone on the team is like stressed out or the like, especially when we're coming up towards release, but I definitely think it was one of the things that kept us sane during the lockdown period. Right behind me is all my knickknacks from travel, so I went from traveling to just being living in my room for 2 years like a lot of people did. If I didn't channel my life focus into something, which we obviously focus it into this, I don't know what state I would have been when we came out, so he definitely kept us together. And one thing that I love the most, and this is going to sound very cliche, but like the sort of the family element of the team that we've grown, I absolutely adore all of them, and a lot of the people on the team, they might have like anxiety, autism, or some sort of like special need, or like they just don't really fit in society as well as they could. They've definitely grown as a team and people, this and that's my biggest thing at the end of the day. Like, the mod is one thing, just how we've grown as people in this team working together and how they're interacting is that to me is worth waiting. Go if I have to go up to my gates, that's my achievement right there. Like, that's so yeah awesome that it sounds yeah like you've really got something out of it and made some friends for life, I imagine as well. Awesome. I probably, as we spoke about it so much last time, just touch on the whole relationship or lack of one with Bethesda. Has anything moved in that regard since last time? Have you had any contact from them or anything like that? No, we haven't. The communication now. This is the thing, we don't expect anything from them again. We're just fans of the project and it is their IP. We are very much aware of that, but know that there hasn't been any communication, which is strange because we've now had communication with other people in the industry and what I guess would be seen as their competitors. They've reached out to us and we've spoken to them, but base themselves have not spoken to us at all. No. And again, I will cave at this because this is one thing that was briefed before, that people thought that we were entitled to try and have a conversation with them. No, absolutely not. I feel like there's an element of thanks towards them when these things had happened before, that they have been like, oh, this has come out, go and support our wonderful team or whatever like that. This has been seen. Paradox is very unknown for doing that. They will just do like a little announcement and be like, hey, our fans have done this, go check that out. There's been nothing like that. And again, we don't expect it. It would have just been nice, I guess, is what I should have said last time when I was on them. We don't really care if we get a headache or not. We didn't do it for that. We did it for the fans, not for the company itself. But no, zero correspondence, especially since release. Literally zero. Not if the community manager has said anything to us. So interesting. I'm glad we got to address that point about entitlement as well. I read some of the comments last time, was a bit, perhaps a little bit unfair among that, and how white my teeth were. Your readers seem to just love like they're real. They're not veneers. I just wanted to clarify that was one the biggest thing I've read in your comments. I did well, credit to you. And in your dental routine, I guess it's very, very impressive. But yeah, now you mentioned it, impressive. Yeah, well done. Wasn't on my topic list, but we'll go there. It's fine, I need to cover that. Hey, this is your platform, go for it. And so I guess really just to round out, I suppose there's probably an end point for Fallout London. I guess maybe you haven't given much thought to when that might be, but if you have any idea, please do tell us. And again, I guess we touched on it a little bit last time. Probably good to ask again, but what are you going to do next? So Fallout London will continue until we basically have all the content which we had to cut for the release. So we have another ending which is called the wildcard ending basically, that will come out in one of the future patches where we're aiming for like some small ones for like stability and things like that, but ultimately there will be a larger patch that basically puts in basically everything that we didn't get in for the original release, and then that will be sort of when we sort of close up shop. For Fallout London, that's not going to happen sooner. We can see ourselves doing that towards until at least at the end of the year, but there will obviously be a point where we're like, that is now done, because again, as much as I love the fact that there is a free project, we can offer this thing to free for all the community. Free doesn't pay our bills, and what has been great for us is that a lot of people who have really enjoyed it have donated to us, and what we are doing with that is we are channeling that into Team Fun, which is obviously what we're going to be moving into, and then we should hopefully launch our own indie games company, which will allow us completely to be able to come up with our own ideas, create our own game, and just really work at the community without having to even like speak to anyone above us, such as like Bethesda or anything like that. It'll be completely our own thing, and we can create a game that we want to, that we think that the community will enjoy. And I think it's at London has been a great springboard for that, because we've worked with people now, we know what the community seems to like, and we've got great platform where we can just talk to them. We're actually going to be doing a developer stream later today, and like people are going to have so many questions, and all of that we write down, because that we can take into our own future company. So that's, I'm really looking forward to. Awesome. Well, sounds like you got it all mapped out, Dane. I think that sounds like it. Don't you did a good job of sound like you did. That's half the battle, isn't it, with life? Awesome. Well, Deed, I think that's everything for me, unless there's anything you wanted to add. That felt pretty expansive. Honestly just a huge thanks to the community. As I said, we did this for you guys. We didn't do it for any or two reasons. We really just did it for the fans, and I'm just glad that you guys seem to be enjoying it. It will get those things fixed for you so that everyone can play and make it as easy as we can. But yeah, just thank you everyone for who's downloading it and supporting us. It means a lot to us. I'm just glad we can do this for you guys. Awesome. Dean Carter from Fallout London, thank you ever so much for your time. Nice one. Thanks for having us. Awesome. Thanks for watching. For more updates, like, share, subscribe, and press bell icon.